Morning, a couple of seconds late, but just making some last minute tweaks to our radar. We are tracking a line of showers and thunder showers moving through central Florida. And because of the severity of these storms as they're approaching us, we've called today, at least through about 3 o'clock this afternoon, a first warning severe weather day. All right. Because of that, we have to be very closely watching our first warning live Doppler radar. Let's get right to it, see what's doing out there right now. And I will tell you the reason that I was a couple of seconds late is I've been tweaking the radar just a little bit here to kind of mirror, just match the intensity of what we're seeing off the different radars here. I think we're in a good spot now. So here's where we're at. All right, line of nasty storms moving in. We've got several advisories, so let's just kind of go through and start here in Flagler County. All right, severe thunderstorm warning in effect with a considerable threat tag. All right, meaning that the winds with this are considerable. Those are damaging. 70 miles per hour is what the National Weather Service has identified. We'll switch over to the live radar. This is our live radar. And, just in kind of scanning 38 miles an hour plus its forward momentum of about 20, 30, so 40, 50. So you're at 60 or so. So absolutely makes sense that we're talking about that considerable damage tag. All right. In addition to that, let's head down here into Volusia County and see what's doing. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect there until 8:15. We come off to the west a little bit. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Citrus and Sumter County. That goes until 8:30, and then into Marion County, we've got a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. It's got Lake Volusia. There's the Marion one. That one until 8:15. So, in other words, warnings or not, this is a pretty considerable line of weather moving through. And this over here around Denellen is the next kind of wave of intense activity. I just want to look at it on the different modes of the radar. Looking at the Tampa radar, Jacksonville's going to be pretty far out. This is us. Yeah. So there's a pretty decent amount of intensity in there, right? And back over here to like Pearson, Astor. Let's just compare national. Looking at the different National Weather Service radars here. There's Melbourne, Tampa. That's Jacksonville. That's us. All right, so I mean, there's a little bit of a notch here. This is a cell that just in sitting here and looking at in the last few seconds, um, I would be keeping very close tabs on. Okay. Um, Up here through Flagler County, plenty of other stormy weather. But this one here, there's just enough of an inflow. Let's wait for the live radar to sweep through. Yeah, I don't like the look of this one, if I'm honest with you. If you live around Pearson, coming off the lake there, definitely a cell we're going to be needing to keep very, very close tabs on. But this is that overall storm system that we had been talking about for a while. I'll put it into motion here, and you can see it gradually working. And if you notice it, the radar kind of comes to life in the last few frames. It's not because these storms are pulsing up significantly. It's just because I went and started tweaking the radar. I always tell you, radars need constant adjustment, and if you're not doing that, then you're not going to have the most valid data. So at any point, this is what it is. Just in comparing us to Melbourne, us to Tampa, us to Jacksonville, yeah. So we're at a good setting now. All right, so a pretty good line of storms moving through our area. In the metro, we are quiet at the moment, but these storms are going to continue to march in our direction. So who's up next to see this? Well, first off, let's just kind of get an idea of storm kind of motion and the like, okay? So I'm just going to read the most recent warning, which was the warning for Marion County, all right? It says that these storms are moving east at 65. So that motion alone, just the storms moving at 65 is enough to cause damage. And then you add 30, 40 mile per hour kind of embedded winds in there, and you've certainly got it. So based on an east at 65, all right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that into the computer here to get an idea of when these storms will arrive in your area, okay? East at 65. And we're just going to do the next hour's time. All right. Based on east at 65, storms are moving into Flagler Beach at 8:12, so you've got a couple of minutes, and that's it. Okay, Astor 8:19, and that cell around Astor is the one I'm really watching closely. Okay, Wearsdale 8:32, the Villages by 8:33, Daytona Beach 8:42, Paisley 8:54, and 9:04 into DeLand. All right, so some nasty storms around. All right. Tammy says buffering. I have zero buffering on my end. So if it's I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. There's zero. I have zero lost frames on my end. So if you guys are having some signal issues, I apologize. It's not me. We're very clearly up to speed on my end. Every indication is that we are 100% up to speed here. So I apologize. If that's happening to you. Yeah, I'm looking. As a matter of fact, I'm looking on my return feed. Signal's looking just fine. So if you guys are having signal buffering issues, I don't know what to tell you. It's not on my end here. Carbon Fiber over on YouTube says, I can see the menacing storms to our north, some darker clouds. Indeed, indeed, indeed. So overall, here's the kind of timeline. All right, now through about 9 o'clock, our northern areas getting into areas just north of I-4 through lunchtime and south of I-4 just after lunchtime. Okay, my friends. All right, sound good? Um, just got a warning over my phone, severe thunderstorm warnings in the county's office. Yeah, we've not gotten a new warning. 7 minutes ago, we got that Marion, Putnam, St. John's warning until 8:15. Considerable damage threat, 1-inch hail, 70-mile-per-hour winds. So this is why today has been called a severe weather warning day, because very clearly we've got that element in the atmosphere. Okay. Now, that said, and we're going to frequently refer back here to our live radar just to check in on advisories. We're quiet in the metro for now. That's the good news. But I do want to move on and just kind of get an idea of what's going on atmospherically so that we can be fully prepared for this overall setup. Okay, so first and foremost, we've got ourselves a cold front moving through. There's the satellite radar. That cold front is what's bringing these storms. Once that clears out, we are going to look much better. The storms clear. Eventually, the clouds will even clear. So let's dial up our futurecast model, kind of get an idea of where this goes, okay? First on foremost, you've got those storms marching through the metro, right? Through about lunchtime, 1, 2 o'clock, okay? Then afterward, 3, 4 o'clock, it starts to clear our area. And while we'll be cloudy, at least things will be quieting down, right? The storms will be pushing out. 5, 6 o'clock, keeping the clouds. Little by little, that clears. All right, overnight tonight, clouds will linger. Here's Monday. Notice Monday. That's a very good reference, Yukon. All right, so Monday, kind of some overcast conditions, but at least we're not looking at storms or anything. Our Martin Luther King Jr. Monday is actually looking to be pretty good. And by Monday afternoon, the sky's clear and it looks very, very nice, as a matter of fact. But Monday late into Tuesday, we start to bring in that next batch of moisture. And it's going to be that next batch of moisture that really makes a mess of a forecast. Tuesday, clouds, rain, chilly temperatures. Waves of heavy rain certainly can't be ruled out. And then look at our futurecast. Oh my God, futurecast. All right, this is the first time I've seen this. So, futurecast is essentially saying that we're going to have enough moisture around and throw in the cold. You see that pink, that we could be looking at some sleet in areas north of I-4. This is not hype. This is just, I'm just looking at the raw model data on our futurecast model. Pink is sleet. All right. The white stuff, the snow, stays north of us. But futurecast is saying that there's the potential to see some sleet. That's interesting. Again, I'm not. This is not me hyping it. It just is what it is. All right. So that's through Tuesday, and then Wednesdays. That's as far out as it goes. We'll have to watch these trends. Wouldn't that be interesting? All right, severe thunderstorm warning just issued for Volusia and Lake counties. So we'll go back to the live radar. New severe thunderstorm warning, and it makes total sense. It's just this next kind of extension, if you will, down here for Volusia and Lake. They're just moving it forward as this line of storms continues. But let's read the warning while we're sitting here. All right. And I'm just going to lapse this so that we've got the radar data. All right. So here's the new severe thunderstorm warning. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and penny-sized hail is what the National Weather Service is saying. All right. So it's near Moss Bluff and Juniper Springs. It's moving east at 50 miles an hour. All right. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, penny-sized hail. So Daytona Beach, Port Orange, Ormond Beach, DeLand, Lady Lake. All right, so you're looking at a pretty decent line of storms. Okay, so that's the newest update that's just come in. Thankfully, no tornado warnings at the moment. I do want to look at that one cell over the lake here. It did want some inflow. See, I mean, near Astor, you're near the water there. Let's look at the Melbourne radar. Melbourne radar isn't really picking up on anything. Orlando International, it's out of range. It's just one of those things. There's a little. And anytime you get a cell like this around water, you always get that added little bit of a spin, right? And so to me, this is definitely something. Not that anybody from the National Weather Service is watching Coffee Talk. And unfortunately, we've not gotten our live radar to send to the National Weather Service because what they're looking at is this is their radar here, but their radar is not showing much. And yeah, it's not showing anything on the dual pole. This is the Tampa radar, would be overshooting it. Jacksonville radar, I mean, maybe Jacksonville, but our radar's got a pretty decent little something here, right? Anytime you get that land water interaction, it's I mean, there's nothing written, but if I live in Pearson, if anybody here by the way lives in Pearson, let's just get new severe thunderstorm warning looks like just got issued. 60 mile. Okay, so this is Marion Flagler. Let's switch over here. Jacksonville. They just issued it. Severe thunderstorm warning for Flagler and Marion counties. 60-mile-per-hour winds, penny-sized hail. Yeah. And they're talking about Lake George. So in and around Lake George, remember, get indoors, torrential rainfall. Yeah, I don't love the look of this little cell. So if you live in Pearson, I'm not saying it's a tornado by any stretch of the imagination, but we've got an inflow notch kind of coming into Pearson, and we've got just a little bit here of a rotating signature. And with the actual speed of this storm system moving the way that it is, I just want us to watch this very, very closely. Okay. So, just a heads up. Okay. So Bill says Pearson present. All right, buddy. So Bill, just get away from windows just in case this is, the radar coverage in your area from the government side is not great. This is my live radar. So it's, live sweep coming through. It may be nothing. It may be nothing. It's just there's enough of a little spin in the atmosphere that I just want to be watching that. So in the next couple of minutes, as this moves into Pearson, let's just be watching that. All right, my friends. Nasty line. I mean, right now, if you're in Flagler Beach, let's get up to Marineland. The storms have already moved through Marineland, but this is the look in Marineland there now. Kind of crummy weather, right? So let's head over to our weather stem cam. This is in Bunnell. Let's check and see what's doing. Let's head over to Volusia County and see what's doing there. We've got a couple of cameras there as these storms are approaching. It's not so bad here. This is over at the beach safety area. Let's head back beach side, looking the other direction. This is the Ponce Inlet. Victoria Gardens, that's further south. That's not a thing yet, right? It's nice to have access to these cameras for sure. I wonder if our New Smyrna camera, sometimes they turn our New Smyrna camera to the north. That would be a really nice view of these storms approaching. Yeah, I mean, there you go. So this is from New Smyrna. There's the Ponce Inlet. There's Daytona Beach Shore. So we're kind of looking in that direction, right? Yukon says maybe some upper level broad rotation. Sure, sure. I'm not negating that at all. Just making sure that our radar is matching everybody else's. Yeah, I'm not negating that at all. It's just one of those. Look, it's just one of those things. And looking and study. See, like this is an interesting little guy here too. That's Jacksonville's radar. I want to check See, Jackson. Okay, there's another one. Like to me, Mound Grove, like Flagler Beach, Mound Grove, Corona. This is our live radar. There's very clearly a kink here, right around Favoretta and Mound Grove. If we look at the Jacksonville radar, I mean it's showing something there as well. So yeah, I'm just looking at all the different radars, but to me, like there's another one that is particularly rough, right? Further down, I mean, that's a nasty line. And then around Bellevue, Weirsdale, like this cluster of activity here, it's not showing up. It's too turbulent on ours because of how far out it is. Tampa, thankfully, nothing significant showing up there, but there's this line. This line is a rough one. I want to come back up here and let the live radar sweep back through. We'll sweep it through in velocity. I just want to look. Okay. All right. So it's kind of right over I-95 or approaching I-95 here around Mound Grove, um, Walter Boardman Road up this way. Little piece of it, I'm not saying it's tornadoing, but you know, definitely some rotation in that area, broad as it may be. But that's the kind of activity that we're looking at this morning. Quite a rocky road here, and it's all moving into the metro. Right? Was there anything in Palm Coast? It was crazy, Tina says. Tell us about it. We've not gotten any word of anything in Palm Coast, which is the good news, but you can see as that line went through, I mean it was nasty. Flagler Beach just got it. Up next is going to be Ormond Beach, Holly Hill, Daytona Beach. Right? Yeah. Lots to talk about with these storms, and we are not even talking about the mention of winter precipitation coming later this week. That's a whole other conversation, right? Michael says tons of rain and thunder in Crystal River Manatee Festival. The good news is it moves out, right? The good news is it moves out. It's not going to be an all-day rain up that direction. All right. So that's the good news there. Shouldn't put a shower cap on to walk the dog. Well, if you got to, you got to. Ryan says, "Wow, it's pouring." Frank says it's going to make putting up signs fun. Well, just outrun it. Your brother is a meteorologist, Frank. Here's the Tampa radar. You've got this next batch coming in, right? There's your sign. Okay? This is all associated with a front. Oh, that's a new verb, tornadoing. I feel like in my little world it's not the newest of verbs. Now, for planning, we haven't even gotten to the forecast today, so I feel like we probably should mention. So, in terms of planning today, the next few hours we are going to keep plenty of showers and thunder showers around. Leslie says, "Dude, you should see the pic I took from my back door. It looked like a tornado." Leslie, email it to me, eburris@hearst.com. I'll pop it up here. If it looked like a tornado, and tell me where you are, Leslie. We'll start there too. Michael's asking, what about the Orlando Metro? When can we expect it here? So, in terms of timing, next couple of hours. It's now through 9 8. So this is a product Camtran put together. Now through 9 a.m. to north. I would say now through lunchtime at this point. I would switch. I would, if it were me, I'm not the med on duty, but I would say now through lunchtime, I 4 north, lunchtime on, it's going to be I 4 south. Okay. So that's kind of the idea behind the timing. Okay. Julie, when is this coming through a pop guy? I missed it. Yeah, so basically now through 3 o'clock, severe weather. That's why today's being called a severe weather warning day. So let me dial up Futurecast here. Oh, Florida weather, we participate in all 4 seasons in one day. Yeah, well, you just wait. This week we're talking actual winter. Like what's going on? Cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria kind of winter. All right, so next couple of hours, it kind of stalls north of town. At least that's what the models are saying. It's going to kind of stall. And through about lunchtime, it'll stay about north of the metro. Lunchtime is when it pushes south of the metro and then eventually clears on out. Okay, so that's kind of the timing of what we're looking at. Kara says, I guess I'm not driving to church this morning. Sounds dangerous. You know, if there's ever a worry, I'm sure you can find church services on YouTube or something to that effect. Certainly, you don't want to put yourself in danger. Sadie says, you're the best in the business. Thank you. Well, I appreciate that, my dear. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Leslie says Southeast Ocala. I'll try to send a pic. Thank you. I appreciate it. Listen, I mean anything to share the weather story with anybody else who's here and kind of interested in trying to figure this all out. But we do have a potent line of storms, lots of lightning in there. I want to pop back over to the velocity, and the line itself. So velocity has this bias because it's only looking at winds. Okay, so the thing's moving at 65 miles an hour, 55, 65 miles an hour. That's a lot of wind just out the door. Then you factor in any kind of a spin to it, and there has to be a pretty good amount of wind to be able to turn it. And you kind of pick up on the ability to see little kinks, like around Mountain Grove. That's our radar. Look at Melbourne, Tampa, probably overshooting. Yeah, Jacksonville. Yeah, I mean, Jacksonville's showing something there, right? So when you're moving the line in one direction, that's the sea of red. When you see little green spots, it should raise your spidey senses. Just like, whoa, wait a minute. If the thing's moving at 65, why is part of it moving the opposite direction? It's a lot of wind to overcome. And that's the areas, I'm not saying it's tornadoing here, but that's the areas that you look for that have the extra turbulence, right? Something else is going on there. And so that's where you watch. So, for example, if anybody's in Mountain Grove right now, I have a feeling it's rocking and rolling for you in a pretty good way, right? Popping up the velocity on our radar. And again, around Pearson and Astor, it looks like that first area that we were watching that was rotating. You see how it was rotating on the top left of your screen? That red? Watch how it kind of wraps out. So at the very least, there was something interesting like right over the water. And as soon as it came back over land, it started to fizzle out a little bit, right? But then there's some more turbulence down here around Astor. Nothing as significant, but you look for, and if you notice our reflectivity, we smoothen the data, not a ton, but just a little bit. Velocity, it's raw. These are raw. We call them gates, or in graphical terms, you could call them pixels. But we use that because each pixel counts. Now, this is all one problem with our radars. The further out you go, I could set it up to look at things in Marion better, but I'm kind of on a broader scan. So at the moment, I'm going to depend more on the National Weather Service in Jacksonville or in Tampa to scan the Marion stuff. But with radar, you have to. There's different things you do for different distances and scanning levels. So right now, I'm kind of just on the broad approach. If I was in the weather center, it would be different trying to zero in on Marion versus, the metro, that kind of a thing. All right, I'm checking to make sure our radar is still on the level of everybody else's, which it is. All right, so there it is. All right. So just in looking in the last hour, it's moving east. It's not quite moving into the metro yet, but we're definitely going to be seeing that. All right. They need to widen the roads, not narrow them like in downtown Houston. I don't know. Southwest Ocala thunder now, stay dry all. Yeah, I mean Southwest Ocala, it's thundering through there, but it should be clear out pretty soon. Yeah. Jamie Keller says, please, it's bad. Please what? Please, oh, I mean, it'll move through. Yeah. Drive safe, sentimentos. Jamie Keller says it's really bad. Yeah, I mean, I can concur with that. Weirsdale, for example. Let's look here. Let me just eyeball, yeah. So Weirsdale, you've got a good push of energy that's about to come in. The villages, this is going to be a good push of energy that's going to come in here shortly. All right. There's always an issue scanning, Marion. A few years ago, there were tornadoes, and we never got warnings because the radars didn't pick up on them. We saw it on our radar, but we were in coverage, and we saw it on our radar. But yeah, there's so rumor has it, by the way, Mary and friends, that there's going to be an an X band radar, and this gets into the nerdiness, and we can talk about this another day. But rumor has it there's going to be an X band radar that's going in somewhere Alachua Marion area, and that will help with the radar hole, right? For me, I'm going to be the closest radar to you, and you know, I'm going to be the closest radar to you. See this cell here north of Lake Weir. This is a good one. Kind of moving into Moss Bluff. Right in there. Yeah, lots of wind energy. I mean, I can pop up the PRF just a little bit. All right, let me do some. Oh, actually, it looks like Cam or somebody already has. So that's good. Somebody at the station already has popped up the PRF. 850. Let's go 950. All right. Give me a second. We made a little tweak to the radar. All right. All right, so we made a little tweak to the radar. That's what's happening. All right, so that should that should clear up. I want to look at the wind energy in these cells. So I just popped up the PRF. I popped it up at 100. So let's see. Yeah, that's going to clean it up a little bit. Yeah. All right. So it's not perfect, but maybe as the tubes kind of level out a bit, it'll help. All right, so that's us. All right, so we're still scanning good. All right, basically what you're just doing is I'm just kind of doing some radar adjustments as is needed, but it looks like we're in a decent spot. Mm. What you're seeing by New Smyrna Beach, the light green shades here, this is what's known as second trip echoes. So ignore those. But we're going into more of a severe mode on the radar, so I don't care that it's not gorgeous, if I'm honest. We're just into analysis mode at this point. But hopefully we get a couple of scans and this section here will clear up just a little bit. Taylor's asking, will a tornado at my house? Yeah, I know. I know. All right. Well, let's bring, all right, so as that scans around, I'm going to bring the filter down just a tick. From 12 to 10. Let's see how that goes. Bup, 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 bup. All right. It's a delicate balance. So anyway, now while I'm waiting for that to start doing its thing, just a reminder: tomorrow's going to be looking pretty good. It's going to be chilly, but into Tuesday, as this moisture lifts to the north, we end up with clouds and rain, and then as it's snowing in North Florida, this little area of low pressure crosses, and as this area of low pressure crosses and drags in some even chillier air, it could be just up the road from us in Central Florida. So that could be interesting. Could be very interesting. All right, radar sweeping. All right, so that filter fixed a little bit. Yeah. All right. May drop that filter a little more. May drop that filter a couple more ticks. 10, 9, 8. Don't get too noisy, please. It's all a delicate I'll tell you, when it comes to working on radar meteorology, it is a delicate balance. So you see, as I'm making these adjustments, it's getting a little noisier around the metro. These second trips are starting to show up more, but we're getting better data on the storms that we need. So that's kind of why we're doing it, right? But I think we're getting to a point where this is going to be a bit cleaner here, and that's what I want. I want to look for any kind of couplets or anything. Doesn't look like we've got much. Which is good news. Victoria, so if I drive to Savannah, will I see snow on Tuesday? It kind of has that look, doesn't it, right? Yeah. All right, so here's the live radar coming through. Be a little cleaner. Yeah. All right, we succeeded. Okay. It's all about knowing your equipment, my friends. I don't see rotation, which is good news. It's all about although that cell right there is peculiar looking, isn't it? Off the shoreline. Yeah. All right, look at that. We cleaned up. You see how we did that? Look at the difference in just a couple of minutes. You see how it's all nasty? See how it's all nasty? And then we just, bloop, we cleaned it right up. You see that? That's knowing your equipment. I can go even more. We'll do that. But that's knowing your equipment, is understanding how things work on a starship. All right? I know this is super boring, and I'm sorry. I just want to see it completely cleaned up. Give it a second. Yeah. Yep. All right. Now I feel good. Now we've got. See, that's the thing. All right. So I think we're good. We're good there. Coming around here. We're good there. Little kinks of gusts of wind, but no rotation. Love that. Love to see that. This, for sure, this area here in Marion, right here, this one to me is the most interesting one, as it's going to be crossing 40 and heading toward Astor. Again, looking at our velocity data, I'm not seeing any rotation, but it's going to be something for sure to watch. Lots of wind out here, kind of working into Rutland. This little area, very gusty, working into Wildwood and the villages. Very, very gusty on our live radar. You see that? Thankfully, I'm not seeing any rotation into it, but yeah, very, very gusty. All right. So that said, so we've got the storms today. We're already here, so we might as well just watch the sweep. Yeah. Okay. Yep. All right. So we've got gusts. So we've got the storms today. Then we've got the interesting kind of Reliance prefix. Thank you, Yukon. Thank you. Thank you so much. These are lines I use all the time, and I just feel like nobody ever gets me in that respect. All right. So I do think it's so here's what I want to do. I want to look we looked at so this is Futurecast into Tuesday afternoon evening. So it's so interesting, like there goes that push, right? So that's current run of Futurecast. I'm going to turn off the clouds. We don't need the clouds for the moment. All right. That's the current run, which should be what, the 6E? That's Manalfi calling. Let me answer the phone. Manalfi, you're on speakerphone.
Oh, am I really?
You're on Coffee Talk right now.
Very good. Good morning, Coffee Talk people.
Everybody says good morning. We've been making tweaks to the radar to get those Marion cells clearing up.
I'm hoping the worst is over though now.
Yep. I don't see the earlier we had some decent little couplets, but
Yes. Yeah, Flagler saw that on St. Augustine.
yeah, but I mean, and by the way, may I just add, like our radar is looking like she is performing like a champ.
I don't know what setting Jacksonville was on this morning, but theirs looked pretty good too.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, it's pretty humid out here. So
yeah.
thankfully, it's cloudy.
That's it. That's it. And let's keep. I mean, I haven't pulled up the temps yet. We've been just doing radar. Hey, I mean, it's 71 in Orlando right now. It's 72 in Kissimmee, so we've got the energy. Stella's not a happy girl, is she?
Sounds like an attack dog, right? Hey, knock it off. Hey, stop it. Let's go.
Everybody's saying hi, Tony.
Tell my right back.
Oh,
I'm trying to pull the Raging Cajun right now.
The Raging Cajun, little Stella Manalfi.
All right, let's get back to your folks. Let me contain the wolf.
Yeah. All right, I'll talk to you later, buddy. Bye. Kristen says no power in Palm Coast. Really? So, power outages. Look at that. Yeah, there's 3,000 without power in Flagler County, 3,500 without power in Marion County. So there you go. And to that point, look at how I feel like these cells are pulsing up a bit, Sumter and Flagler counties. I mean, there's some good wins in there. Not thankfully seeing rotation, but there's definitely some good wins in there. Definitely good wins in there. Yeah. So, all right. So anyway, what will be interesting is to see, and let's go back to, so this is 6Z is the most recent run of Futurecast, kind of showing that sleet line really far south. And what I'm curious about is what the previous, so that's 6Z. I want to go to the 0Z. I'm just curious. It didn't go out as far. It'll be really interesting these next few days to watch Futurecast and see how much it changes. You know, how that rain snow line plays out, that rain sleet line plays out, that sort of thing. That'll be very interesting to track. So, we'll be doing it. We'll be doing it. All right. All right. So enough of that. So we'll be tracking these storms. All right. But in terms of the next 7 days, I don't want to leave you without really discussing this because this is sloppy. I mean, this is just not. This isn't great. So today, first warning, severe weather day. Right. We've clearly got these nasty storms moving through. It's going to be a while before it does. Tomorrow, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Cloudy skies, cool temperatures. Continue severe thunderstorm warning. Okay. Um, Highs in the lower 50s tomorrow, morning lows in the 40s. It's going to be chilly. Okay. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, impact weather, chilly air, rain, even the potential of some sleet around. All right. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we're starting to look much better. Yeah. All right. So we'll have to watch and see. Hold on one second. I did more than Cam is messaging. Just PRF. We can discuss later, but Cam, oh my god, I don't know what you did, but the radar looks amazing. When you get a colleague saying that, that is the most um that is the most perfect thing a little weather engineering nerd could ever ask for. When somebody says, "Oh my god, the radar looks amazing." Be still my heart. So Kara's asking, where and what time can we see snow? All right, so that is a great question. At the moment, it's a little too early to dial into that, right? Today is Sunday. You're talking about Tuesday, Wednesday. But at the moment, I would say that Futurecast is saying our northern spots may want some snow. So to that, or not snow, some sleet. So to that point, I will tell you this. I will be 1,000% transparent about it if it looks like it's going to happen. Tuesday's gonna be a really crummy day. But Tuesday night, Futurecast is saying that we could see some sleet in our area. I will be really interested to see how this plays out. Really interested to see how this plays out. That said, if it looks like this is going to play out, I will be in the weather lab tracking it. And if I'm in the weather lab tracking it, I'm going to be telling you what I'm doing. That way you can also go track it with me. Okay? So we'll keep you up to date. Do not worry. But Futurecast is going super bullish. I'm curious, while we're talking real quick, I'm super curious if, let's see, I just want to look at the HER model. Yeah, the HER doesn't go out far enough. Yeah, okay, so the HER doesn't go out far enough. So, all right. By tomorrow morning's coffee talk, though, the HER should go far enough out that we should be able to see what it's saying. All right? All right, listen, be the sunshine in someone else's day. We'll be taking care of you throughout the day on our social channels. Cam Tran is in there, and Marquise Mita already texted me. So we're all watching the weather. All right, take care. We'll talk to you later.